These are our top 10 whiskeys of 2024.
Hi, I'm Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Taryn, and welcome to Whiskey Break.
And welcome to our top 10 of 2024 list, finally. We're a little behind on this,
Yeah,
but...
also not dressed to impress, sorry.
Yes, sorry, maybe next year. But yeah, we're just gonna go over the top 10 whiskeys that just really impressed us the most. A little bit of ground rules. The bottle had to be released in 2024. We had to own a bottle of it. And we tried to avoid store picks unless that was the only way to get a bottle, like if it was a single barrel series. And so that's kind of our rules. We went through, we didn't blind them all, but taste is the most important component to it. But we are ranking it as a release as a whole. So if a bottle is particularly available or cheap, that gives it a slight bump up. But I think that's kind of all the rules. Let's just get right into the top 10.
Yeah, let's do it.
Starting out the list at number 10, we have Jim Beam Winter Reserve Bourbon.
Yes, definitely not something that I foresaw putting on our list. I typically am not a huge peanutty fan, so Jim Beam tends to not be my favorite. But this one actually really surprised us. I think the vanilla, the cinnamon, you know, the cloves, the very baking spice heaviness of this bottle, we really liked. And I mean, it is so cheap.
Yeah, this is definitely a bottle that we took in contention how available and how cheap it was. Yeah. This is really the only under $25 bottle that we really liked, especially that was released in 2024. So this was huge standout to us. This was really just a wild card in terms of we didn't really set out to buy it, but we just kind of saw it on the shelf and went for it. And like Taryn said, this is just a really big surprise for us coming from Jim Beam. But if you haven't already, give this bottle a shot. It's double oak, toasted. I think it's worth it for $25. Next up at number 9, we have Blue Note Honey Rye Cask.
Yes. Obviously, I intended to really like this product. I maybe would have thought that earlier in the year it may have ranked a little higher, but there were just so many heavy hitters that came out, you know, pretty at the end of the year. So had to make sure we made room for them. I think with this one, I will say it is the first honey cask that I've tried. And honestly, it does taste like honey. I mean, they didn't lie there. I think this is a good bottle to pick up. I think there are definitely some ryes that I prefer more. And having this be, you know, a limited release is a little tough compared to some of our other limited releases.
Yeah, I think it being so hard to find was definitely a drawback, along with it's just really inconsistent in a weird way that not a lot of other bottles are. We go to it one day, it's extremely fruity, you don't taste any of the youth notes on it at all. Then we went back another day and it was just really ethanol forward and spicy rye. It is only age dated at least 3 years. And so it was never really bad, but taking all that into account, we felt like you couldn't put it any higher than number 9. So
I agree.
If you have a chance to get your hands on it, it is a really cool, unique rye, but we had some others that are a little better this year. If you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down there. Let's get right back into the list. Coming in at number 8, we have Green River Rye.
Yes, speaking of ryes we liked a little bit more than the last one. I think this is a great bottle. I honestly am a huge rye fan, of course, I've told you guys multiple times, but this bottle just is so unique and different, honestly. It is very fruity, but not in a Sagamore fruity way, or maybe some other ways.
Buffalo Trace,
it is very unique, and it just kind of, you know, took my top spot of like a value-ish rye. And I think it's just a really good bottle. I honestly urge anybody to buy this. Yeah,
Green River kind of came out of nowhere for us. This bottle is findable around us for as low as $30 and at most like $35. And so this just really, there were a lot of really good budget bottles that came out last year. And I think this one just took our middle of the road budget-ish spot for rye. And yeah, Taryn really loves this bottle. We're going to keep going back to it, maybe put into some blinds, figure out how it fares against some even more expensive ryes. But I think number 8 is a really good spot for this. If you haven't gone out and tried it yet, give Green River a shot.
All right, number 7 is Jack 10 Batch 3.
This is a really hard one for me because I truly love this bottle. It's just... It's so good. It hits my palate perfectly. It's got all the perfect chocolate notes. It's never too proofy. It's just, if I could make this my everyday daily drinker, I totally would. But there's an elephant in the room. It's incredibly hard to find.
Yeah.
It often goes for like about $150 secondary wise. And
Yep.
it's hard for me to say it's worth that. I mean, we got lucky. We paid at Costco prices, that's $70, $80 for it. And even then, it's a bit pricey for what you get from it. And so I want to put this higher, but when you consider everything and that it just doesn't really have anything that blows you away, I couldn't put it any higher than 7.
Yeah, this one is kind of funny because honestly, Jonathan had to really fight for this one to be in my top 10. I don't think I necessarily would have chosen it without his, support. So I may have put some of the other bottles higher than this bottle, but honestly, it is a really good bottle. I think we found ourselves coming back to it, and I know Jonathan really, really enjoys it.
Yeah.
And I do think it deserves a spot on this top 10 after, talking it through and, deliberating between the two of us. It is, very banana forward, and it is something that we always gravitate toward. We love Jack Daniels, and I think this is a deserved spot.
Yeah, totally agree.
Number 6 on the list is Sagamore 9-Year.
Yeah, as soon as we found out that this bottle was dropping from them, we knew we were going to get it at some point.
Of course.
And we would probably like it. But it actually kind of surprised us how much we enjoyed it. We got the 8-year last year, and that made a lot of people's lists. Everyone really raved about that bottle, and we enjoyed it. But it was just kind of a standard, spicy, barrel-proof rye. It didn't do anything crazy for us. The extra year really turned this MGP rye to be more of the fruity territory.
Yes.
And that's what we gravitate towards. That's what we love. It's hard to put this bottle any lower than 6 because it is super readily available. I think we could still grab this bottle for like $70. Yes. 9-year age statement, barrel proof rye. I mean, they are really hard to beat in a value territory, and we're just really proud of Sagamore. This is one of my favorite ryes on the year.
Yes, I am also proud of Sagamore for keeping their prices low. I mean, they could definitely raise them with kind of the current offerings that they're putting out there, and they haven't yet. So please don't, Sagamore. But yes, this is a bottle that we absolutely love. I think, like Jonathan said, it goes into that fruity territory, which is, it's our favorite profile, of course. But yeah, just this bottle is great, and I can definitely see it being, in that middle section of our list.
Yeah. Getting into the top 5 of our list, at number 5, we have New Riff 8-Year Bourbon.
Yes, so we definitely had some troubles in this top 5 zone. I think there are a lot of really good bottles, and this is one of them. Honestly, this bottle kind of took me by surprise. We have never tried New Riff before and had heard such good things about it, and we're really curious to get it, but unfortunately California didn't have too many in the last couple years. But yeah, we're able to get our hands on this 8-year bourbon and the 8-year rye, and this bottle was amazing. Honestly, this is one of the first bourbons in a while that I actually was like, this is amazing. Like, I love this bottle and will definitely drink it. I think it's balanced. It's super balanced. I think the oakiness versus the fruitiness is all combined to make it just a really great bottle.
Yeah, like Terrence said, we got it with the rye. The rye is good, but this bourbon really is pretty exceptional, especially for the price. For the proof, I mean, it's kind of fun when you get 100 proof bourbon that really just delivers a really great experience, because you don't need to be in the mood for something crazy barrel proof to drink it, but it still tastes different than anything else. And yeah, we were shocked by the fruitiness. We were so excited to try more from New Riff. I think this bottle really caught a lot of people by surprise, and I can't wait for their 2025 release of it. At number 4 on our list, we have Redwood Empire Devil's Tower Bourbon.
Yes, this was a really hard one. I mean, honestly, if we were going on the rules of what you want to drink more often, this would be my top bottle. It is absolutely amazing. I've probably talked about it all year, and you've probably seen it in 20,000 videos from us, because it's just my bottle. This is like my new go-to. I think it actually beats out Barrel Seagrass in my opinion. It is just so good, and I'm really, really excited of where Redwood Empire is going, and this bottle is a huge part of that. I think overall, it's just so apple forward. It's just literally apples in a glass. It's so good, and honestly, I have no words for how amazing this is. It's just so good. Go out and buy it. This is a batch 1, but there are batch 2s out there. Please go support Redwood Empire on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself. We've drank through this bottle so much. We already have 2 backups. We just love this particular batch. And I think both this and the new Riff 8, kind of that 4 and 5 spot of just being, in our minds, the best that 100 proof or under bourbon can be. And that's like kind of the daily sipper. It's hard to rank these higher than that just because those barrel proofs really bring so much more. But I mean, this was an $80 pretty readily available bottle to find, and it's number 4 of the entire year. I think that says something. Huge shout out to Redwood Empire. If you haven't given this bottle a shot, you need to. All right, now we're into our top 3, and these 3 were incredibly close, incredibly difficult to rank. But with that said, at number 3, we have E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof Bourbon Batch 13.
Yes, this bottle was amazing. I mean, I love E.H. Taylor. I love the barrel proof. Our favorite has been Batch 10 and is still reigning champion, but this is a very close second. It is probably more in the like sweeter, fruity territory than maybe in the like oaky, deep territory. And honestly, I really liked it. It's kind of almost like watermelon cherry. It's very, very, very bright for a barrel proof bourbon. And I completely enjoy that. That is kind of my profile.
Yeah, this one barely snuck in. We just grabbed it at the end of 2024. And honestly, I don't know how it is across the country, but this particular batch was so much more available than any other E.H. Taylor barrel proof batch. I mean, to the point where the secondary is, you can find them for under $250. And that's a lot of money, but we think this is at least $100 better than any given stag batch, especially the ones that we had this year. And so if you want something in that fruity territory that is 127 proof but doesn't drink like it, it's just great. Like I said, we just barely cracked into this, but we are going to be drinking on this a lot more coming up. And I think it's deserving of that top 3 spot.
All right, we're down to the top 2. Let's see if you guys can guess. Let us know in the comments what you guys think our top bourbon, whiskey, rye, whatever it could be in the comments. And this next bottle, the runner-up, really surprising, is Jack Daniel's Coy Hill 2024 release.
Yeah, this is a bottle that if you've been watching for a little while, we actually kind of called our shot with this one. We made a video of bourbons that we were hunting, and we said this was the unicorn level one that we really wanted to find. We were able to find it, not at MSRP, but for $200, which we were willing to pay. And it's really, really good. There's been a lot talked about this bottle. I think it is completely different than your average Jack Daniel's single barrel proof whiskey.
Yes.
It does taste completely different. It's clearly cut from a different rick house, warehouse. You know, this isn't a crazy proof one. It's about 125 proof, but it does drink like special whiskey.
Yeah.
With that said, I was hoping for a little bit more from it. I was hoping for it to be like truly special, nothing I've ever tasted before. It's not quite that. And so between this and the E.H. Taylor barrel proof, it was very close. But this, I think, is deserving of the number 2 spot, and it does drink a little more special.
Yes, I agree. I think this one surprised me a little bit because I love Jack Daniel's. I thought this bottle was a shoo-in for number 1 just because of, I don't know, I just like, there's some hype around Jack Daniel's and I love it. And there's definitely, you know, there obviously was a Coy Hill release that did so well that it was like insane. So I was kind of expecting, you know, a close second. But honestly, this one, yeah, it drinks special, but not worth $300, $400 special. Yeah. It was right at our cap at about $200 when we picked this up. And I don't think I would spend any more than that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's not a bad whiskey. It is our number 2 on the entire year. Totally. Don't want to say it's a disappointment or anything like that, but it's not unicorn level. If you haven't been able to get your hands on it, it's not like the greatest thing ever. It is very, very good. Like we said, this and the E.H. Taylor barrel proof were neck and neck, and ended up that this is our number 2. And now we have our number 1 spot, our whiskey of the year of 2024. I, like Taryn said, try to guess what it is, but I haven't seen a single other whiskey channel put this as our number 1. We have really unique palates. We really like different things than a lot of other people. But if you've been following the channel, this might not be a surprise. So number 1, we have Rare Character TKO Single Barrel Rye. Specifically, this is the High Time Wine Cellars pick.
Yes, we absolutely adore this bottle. Honestly, the first time I tasted it, it was something like I'd never tried before. Yeah. And the only other time that I had experienced that was with Barrel Seagrass. Yeah. So honestly, I might pick this one over that too. It's just a delicious barrel proof rye, and it tastes finished, which is like crazy. It gives such candy vibes. High Times did a great job. We've tried a couple other TKOs and they weren't quite as fruity. Maybe not as like candy-like or watermelon-like that this one is. But this bottle is just so good. If you guys were able to get your hands on this, congrats, because this is one of the most delicious bottles. And if you haven't, or you know of someone that has it, please get them to send you a sample or do something, because this bottle is just so good. And I wish it was more readily available. I wish it was, a continued release, but this is all we have, and we're going to be savoring it.
Yeah, as we talked about, specifically this top three, it was really hard to figure it out. But I think when we're talking about these really hard to find, high value bottles, what does it for us is something that is unique and experience that you can't get at a lower price point. Yeah. And so, like we were talking about the Coy Hill and the Aged Tail Barrel Proof, they're fantastic. We love going back to them, but you can find some aspects of that in other bottles. I really don't know if you can get this drinking experience in anything else, at least not in our collection. And so this really just put it head and shoulders above the rest. We're going to be more interested in trying some of these different experimental mash bills from Rare Character. We're really impressed with them. And yeah, this bottle is our #1 of the year.
And that wraps up our 10 favorite bottles of 2024. This list was so fun to make. We obviously got really lucky with some of these awesome releases. And honestly, thank you guys so much for supporting us. We never thought in a million years that we would be here and that you guys would actually want to listen to us drone on and on about things. But thank you guys so much again. Honestly, your support means everything to us.
Yeah, obviously this is the first time we've been doing a list like this. We just started the channel in 2024. So thankful for all that support again. We can't wait to do a new list for 2025. Let's get the good whiskey coming in, and yeah.
Yeah, make sure to like, comment, tell us what you guys have been drinking this year, or tell us if you thought our list was crazy. Let us know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.